Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to tell you what I've been hiding for a long time. I've been wanting to get away from Final Fantasy XIV, at least try to vary up my channel for, I would say close to 2 years now. This has been a thing for a while. Every time we get to Christmas or New Year's, I'm like, oh man, I really need to change what I do. I really need to step it up. I really need to take the game even further. This shouldn't be a hobby anymore. I know how to edit. I know how to make videos. I should be going at the speed of lightning, but I just couldn't. If there was one thing that was holding me back, it's the fact that America is just not doing so well when it comes to jobs, and I had a job at the time, and I always thought if I didn't keep my job, if I didn't work, I won't have anything to my name. I won't have money to keep in the bank. Lo and behold, I get fired anyway, so. Well, to be fair, it wasn't a firing, it was the end of a contract. But you gotta understand, ending a contract, getting laid off, or being fired, it doesn't matter what you call it, you lost your job. I lost my job, and I freaked out, and for good reason. My savings ran out, I couldn't keep my apartment, and now I'm just sitting here in a relative's place, and here I am. But if there was one thing that I could definitely say is that my sister really does know how to push a person, because she knows what I can do. She knows that I am not bad at making a YouTube video. So she says, why not just push a little harder? Why not take it a bit more seriously? And you guys understand that this has never been anything more than a hobby. I've never taken YouTube to a serious stance before. I mean, there were the podcasts that we are taking a huge hiatus on because we just can't get together. Everyone has their own work schedule going on, and I can't really find anything to do in Final Fantasy XIV when it comes to lore. I mean, I would scrape the bottom of the barrel, but I'm not going to do that. And I was given suggestions, you know, retell the entire story, make the character meteor, and go off from that. I was able to do one thing, however, and that was do Eorzea Historia, which basically took the Eorzean encyclopedia and put it into a video format, specifically speaking the history of Eorzea. But I think I should take this a little bit more seriously. I think I should push a little further. To no one's surprise, perhaps, I don't know what you guys think about this, but there was one thing I wanted to be other than a lore content creator for an MMO. I wanted to be a game reviewer. And I had plenty of inspiration. I'm from the old times, you know, when everything was up and at 'em, when normal boots was like one of the biggest things, and not to mention Game Grumps was just starting out back in those days when it was JonTron and Ego Raptor. Like, you remember all that? There was a solid formula of doing something fun in order to earn money on YouTube because people were making it big. They were making it big. It was like a phenomenon. But I never jumped on that trail. I never jumped on that train. I never jumped onto that opportunity even though I had the chance to. I mean, back during those times, I was having a little bit of college trouble and I had to be sent home. And it was probably a blessing in disguise because it was DeVry, and DeVry got sued out of their butts later on down the years. What they get sued for? For basically being fake and taking people's money. And everything I've learned when it came to video editing, animating, and all that other stuff that you see in my YouTube videos, those were all self-taught. But you're probably asking, hey, you started this video out trying to tell us something, right? Well, here's the thing. I've been thinking for a long time what I should do with my video editing talent. I thought I could use that to go to a job, but apparently that's just not going to work unless I had a degree, and I don't have a bachelor's degree for it. But what I can do while I have the time is entertain you guys, perhaps with a lot more videos than I should, and it will keep me sane because I am practically going insane in this situation that I'm in right now. So here's the surprise, here's what I'm going to do. There was something that I always wanted to do when it came to game reviewing for a long time now, for like 5 years. It's something that every other game reviewer does here and there, but I think the completionist, Gerard the Completionist, does it the best. You see, he likes indie games, and he supports indie games, and he tries to support it as best as he can. I am the same way. I try to be a proponent for indie games. I don't like free-to-play games, and I don't like how modern games are being made. So I thought, how about I make a channel specifically to support indie games? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new channel, The Indie Observer. Well, we're not there yet, you're still on the Syncweaver channel, but I'm going to promote that channel while I'm here on the Syncweaver channel. And while I'm at it, here's an introduction video on what that channel is all about. Hello and welcome to the Indie Observer, a channel whose mission is to observe new indie games coming out and determine whether they are worth the observation or to be ignored. My name is Syncweaver, and my mission here is to discover all types of indie games, bring them into the light if they are worth it, or warn others if they're scams, have bad practices, or just plain bad, and ultimately ignore them. I look for indie games from all over social media, Discord, forums, streams, email, word of mouth, and even YouTube. I look for some that are being developed, that way I can make people aware of their existence, show a little support to the developers, and keep the indie pillar holding up the gaming industry alive, because we know that the AAA industry ain't doing that. And if they're done, I go into full throttle on a review and determine if they are worth going from observation into full buy and or play, or ultimately ignore them, which is never something I want to do. I will try to keep updates on interesting indie games, but the main thing on this channel is to make sure games are being noticed. My Discord will have updates on the current indie games that I'm looking at, and all of my videos will be posted there just as well. My last mission is to take suggestions of any games people want me to look at, indie or not, and see if they deserve some attention, like being a diamond in the rough from past classic games to modern hidden gems. I'll give them a try and determine if they are deemed to be observed or ignored. So welcome to the observation deck. Let me know about any indie games that deserve attention in the links below. I have a Discord and Twitter X handle for direct contact. That name is still stupid. Well, what do you think? I know most of you guys do not come here for any of the indie stuff. You come here for the Syncweaver and you come here for lore for the most part. But as of right now, 14 content when it comes to lore is at its lowest, and I kind of just don't have interest in it anymore. I do still want to talk about 14, but I'm going to talk more in general of MMOs and how I feel about certain video games. I think the Syncweaver channel can reach out to other games, reach out to other MMOs, because there's like a story within World of Warcraft and Guild Wars that I want to touch up on. I still feel like a lore channel at heart, but I need other franchises. I need other series to talk about. I mean, one of the rules when it comes to 14 is that you don't talk about spoilers. You don't talk about the story. What you do is point your friend in the game's direction and have them play the story. And it's funny how there are some new players that come in and they complain about the fact that they have to go through 4 hours of content just to get to the end game. And we'll talk about that whole end game thing in another video. I think I talked about it before, but honestly, 14 is a whole other beast. It's a story-based MMO, and you should expect that. Like at this point, 300 hours of that game is totally free as a free trial. That means people can come into this game, try out for free the game, and have 300 hours of content. And with that being said, there are people who do not want the story spoiled. So yeah, lore content is not great right now, but I understand a lot of people say that they love stories, they love lores, which is the reason why they still follow those content creators. And you're absolutely right in liking those channels and liking the lore content that all of us make. But as for me, this is not a burnout kind of thing. This is kind of like a lost interest. So with that being said, Syncweaver is going to be maybe MMO general. I will still make 14 content, don't get me wrong, but I'm also going to try and make WoW content, Guild Wars content, RuneScape content, and maybe just general game content. But while that's going on, I'm also going to be in charge of the new channel, the Indie Observer. And as you heard from the introductory video, yeah, I am taking suggestions on what games to look at next. As for this channel, like I said, I'm still going to cover 14. I'm just not going to cover the lore content. I'm just going to solidify that right now. I'm not going to back away from what I want to do. I want to push further and turn this hobby into something else, you know? So I'm going to try to upload more. You're probably going to get more videos like this, where it's kind of like a commentary style. And at the same time, I'm going to be working on the Indie Observer and try to get that up in terms of subscribers. Yes, I'm going to advertise that channel over here, so don't be surprised when I do it. But in general, I have no regrets anymore. I'm not going to let myself be held back. I'm not going to let myself go through anxiety. I mean, I have a ton of anxiety, but I'm not going to let it hold me back on what I want to do. Not anymore. I'm going to push forward. My IRL situation is really shitty, but I'm not going to let that drive me insane. So with that being said, episode 1 of the Indie Observer, at least one episode is up there. If you want to go and check it out and possibly subscribe to it, I'd be thankful. And here's to progress. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.